Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're both back over on the test server and super excited because we do have the new Highborn Draconic hero. Now, pretty interesting. I love the wings. I like the build on him. Also does have a musical instrument right here. I forget exactly what it's called. I think it's a lute. But overall, it looks like the Fates gamble, and there is a lot of RNG with this hero. So I want to go ahead and break down the skills and abilities that this hero possesses. But I also want to look at the overview. Now, looking at this, we also get the Draconic gift. Now, a lot of players are going to question, a lot of players are going to wonder, not only do you get free 50 Draconic insignias, but you also do get the discounted summon. So it's very similar to what we see with the Temple of Time. Now, with the 50 you get out of here, who should you be looking for if you are starting? Now, general rule is having 600 to 700 insignias, and we got to stress this. And then when you still look at who is the highest priority or the highest value Highborn Draconic hero we have right now, as of today, it is Lan, followed by Leviathan or Skyland, depending on your build and depending on who you have. But outside of really those three, we do not know exactly where this hero is coming, because I know I'm getting messages probably in about 10 minutes after I post the video that say, should we build this new hero? Should we go ahead and build him out in the entirety? The answer right now is we don't know, because we really don't know. Let's run through the skills and abilities that he possesses. The Silver Scale Venabog. So again, pretty cool looking. I love how they did the backdrop. I like how he looks. Not, so huge as a Draconic hero, but also is an agility-based ranger with continuous damage. We're going to have to see where that damage comes in. Is he going to be on par with like a Skyland with the build? Let's go ahead and break down these skills. So the first one is Luck, or Lady Luck Smiles. So at the start of battle, he invokes Fortune's Favor Weather. So this is going to be an element effect. This is going to be something affecting the battlefield. For every point of crit he has, he also has 2 points of luck. Luck provides Kelthon with the advantage. For every point of luck, increasing the damage dealt by 0.4 and have a max of 200 points of luck. That means you're at 100 crit rating for those 2 points of luck, which is kind of crazy. And that, of course, is just the regular ability, but that seems like a lot. So active, he engages the enemy hero with the highest crit rating in a dice duel, dealing dragon speak damage equal to 300% of the attack rating. And the hero that rolls highest steals 20% of the crit rating. So you don't have to quite get him to 100 if you're stealing crit rating within there itself. If Kelthon wins the dice duel, for every point he rolled higher than the enemy, he deals the extra dragon speak damage. Don't know how this is going to work with bosses. Equal to 30% of the attack rating of that target. He is invincible, untargetable, while invoking Fortune's Favor Weather and while casting his ultimate. The higher luck, the higher chance of winning the dice. His chance will not exceed 95%. So this hero is going to be total RNG. You could go in there and your win chance cannot exceed 95%, meaning you could still have that 5% failure rate in there. While Fortune's Favor Weather is active, allied heroes gain 15 points of crit. That can really bring the top end damage of some of these heroes that are really dependent on crit. And thinking of like a Scion or someone like that, where you're boosting up additional crit. Now, looking at the 2 dice assault, he launches 3 strikes of Dragon Speak damage at the current target, equal to 125% of the attack rating. Then there is a passive ability. He uses 2 dice to assist in battle, inflicting health loss equal to 125% of the attack rating. Upon entering battle, the dice will prioritize appearing near the enemy with the lowest health. So almost like a finishing move in here, which is pretty cool. The higher the luck, the more health loss the dice inflicts, which health loss we know is tied to erosion. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for that. After he wins a dice duel, the health loss inflicted is a further increase by 20% for 5 seconds. And then it goes to 40% for 7 seconds. That is pretty huge, depending on where his damage again scales in with the abilities. So he plays his Zither. So I guess it's called the Zither, gaining a shield equal to 350% of the attack rating, reducing the crit rating of the enemy hero with the highest attack rating by 30 points. That could be a big effect within PvP. Every time he reduces the crit rating, that hero will suffer a follow-up Zither attack. So he's going to do more damage in there. Every time he gains luck, he receives healing from the Zither. The healing amount goes to 12%, but never less than 6% of the max health. And then we know the engraving in here. When he suffers health damage or health loss, it will reduce based on the damage between the crit rating and the opponent's. The lower the enemy's crit rating compared to Kellon's, the more damage and health loss is reduced, up to a 60% reduction. That is pretty big. And then the final one is the Chance Strike. So he plays the instrument to attack enemies, dealing AoE damage. This skill is determined by the dice check, so everything is based on dice in here. For max damage of 280%. Once this skill is unlocked, it replaces the normal attack. So he will not even have normal attacks when you're building him out. So he plays the Zither to attack enemies, dealing AoE damage. The skill dice determined by a dice check for max damage of 330% of the attack. Once it's unlocked again, it takes out the normal one. So if he wins a dice duel from Lady Luck Smiles, the minimum score for subsequent dice checks is increased after 5 dice. His dice will always roll a 6. So if you're, and again, thinking about a minute 30 within the cursed realm, that is going to be a big difference because he can get 6s all the time with here after 5 dice duels. Now, of course, Nightmare Corridor being burst, don't know where he's going to come in. When he rolls a 5 in a dice check, he deals the extra strike of damage. When he rolls a 6, he deals 2 extra strikes of damage. That is going to be pretty strong right there. Then, of course, we have Stellar Gambit. For every point of crit, reduces the enemy, again, gains an extra point of luck. After invoking Fortress Favors Weather, damage is increased by 10% for every ally that has received the crit rating boost. That is going to be huge. When he goes for the weather, it increases the crit rating boost for a maximum of 4, 15% increased damage. Then we do have Lady Luck. His chance dodge physical attacks, resist enemy control goes up to a maximum chance of 80%. After his luck increases, the attack power also increases for a maximum of 100%. When he takes fatal damage, he spends 50% of the luck to gain immunity. There is the cheat death, guys. That is what we wanted to see for PvP, which again is kind of crazy. Invincible, untargetable for 3 times, can be triggered up to 3 times per battle. You can, that is crazy. That is crazy. He can die 3 times per battle with an SI 40. Furniture, when the weather is active, he is guaranteed to win his first 2 dice duels. That again is pretty broken. And his dice are guaranteed to roll a 6 on the first 2 dice checks. Remember, if he rolls a 6, it is going to do more damage in there. Then every time he wins a dice roll or rolls a 6, his damage is increased by 45%. And he gains 15 points of haste and physical pierce. This effect cannot stack. So we know he's going to win the first couple dice checks. And we know there's a point where he is going to only roll 6s. So that does seem pretty broken overall with this hero, guys. But very, very cool to see. Let's see what he looks like in combat. So let's slow him down. All right, so he enters combat. Now, right now, he's ranged. He does that dice, like a 20-sided dice on top of him. Boom, doing quite a bit of damage. I want to see the ultimate. All right, so there's the dice roll. 63. Boom, there's the damage. Just took everyone out. And you can see, guys, he's the only one fighting him. We got a 41 right here. Boom. Yeah, that Dragon Speak damage is so strong. But he does go toe-to-toe, so he is in there. There's another 41. And remember, this is a basic version. So let's hop over here to the guard and see, because I want to get a couple buffers in here and try not to really throw another damage dealer in here. Let's go with Ivan, and I feel like he's just going to kill them so fast. It's going to be kind of silly. They come right out of the gate. Boom, he gets that dice. And again, the can't even use this anymore because the team's already pretty much dead. The rolls of 51 right there. It goes on Brutus. Brutus has the immunity. Yeah, can't really tell much of what's going on with him. Yeah, 3.53, 2.8. We're going to have to see what that looks like. I wonder if we can even go in here. And I wonder what it would look like with him doing this by himself. Because remember, he is fully built. Let's just go ahead and drop him in. Probably going to get run over, but always kind of curious. So there he goes. He gets the buff up on Brutus. And it is attacking down here. He is attacking both targets. Now there's the cheat death. Now I think it's going to land right here. Boom. Yeah, that Dragon Speak damage. Yeah, look, guys, the little flying guy back here just pretty much killed Rain. It's still attacking Rain. This is on Rain back there. So Rain is done. Again, he has a considerable amount of cheat death, 5.64 million. but it seems very slow. So that is something to note. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.